Hey everybody, welcome back to Darvanalee Design Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole and today we are here for our weekly Stitch with Me, so let's get started. Good evening everybody and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me while I do a little bit of cross stitching. Grab out your snow village if you're working along with me, or maybe a chart of your choice. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. As I said, this is our weekly Stitch with Me. I am currently working on Snow Village and I am working on this until it's done. We're about halfway through now, and so we're going to get some more stitches in. So if this is something that you like, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any future posts. Alright, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back again, and I hope that you've got your charts out and you're ready to stitch, you've got your morning coffee, and let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so this is the part that I'm working on. For those that are new here, we are just stitching along. A lot of white at the moment, but today we're going to be working with some brown. Alright, so as you can see, I have done a little bit of mapping. And basically what I class as mapping is where I do half of the cross during the week, and then when I come back and stitch with you, we'll finish off the cross. So that way there'll be no counting errors. There's probably still counting errors. Let's face it, Nicole can't count. That's the mantra of the channel. It is very early on a Monday morning. I didn't get any filming done on the weekend because Savannah come to visit. She had a party, which she was only there for 3 hours, but a friend of hers, it was his 18th, so she came up to spend some time with some of her friends from school and celebrated his birthday. So that was nice. It was good to see her. I made some pulled pork on the weekend, so she really enjoyed that. She took some of that home with her, but it was good to see her. She's doing really well. She's settled into school really well. She's starting to make some friends, which is great. She's still trying to find some extra work because her job hasn't started yet, and she's starting to get a little bit stressed about that, but we're trying to reassure her that it's okay if it takes a little bit longer because it just gives her more time to settle in. What else has been going on? Not a great deal, really. I have been doing a lot of filming. I've been doing a lot of reading. And I have not been doing much crafting because I actually have a challenge happening over on my booktube channel, and I'm reading I just need to move this forward a bit, sorry guys. Reading the entire long list of the Women's Prize for Fiction, and I've been vlogging that. So I've also been prepping for the launch of the Patreon, so you probably would have started to see some things pop up about that. We are launching on the 1st of April, and I'm just trying to get some content done and all that sort of stuff for you, and I'm well ahead of schedule, so that's really good. I'm happy about that. And yeah, I've had to adjust a few things here on the home front. So yeah, we've just done a little bit of adjusting and whatnot, so Brennan knows that I've got stuff on, so he's not getting me to do as much with his business right now. Once everything settles down and whatnot, I'm into the flow of filming for both YouTube and Patreon. I'm into the flow of that. I've scheduled it out and everything, yeah, so I'm getting everything, all my ducks in a row, as they say. But it was so awesome to see Savannah, and yeah, and I had to take last week off just for, I had a few things on, like for business stuff, but I took some time off for personal reasons with Narrowly, which I'm not going to get into right now until she says I can talk about it. But yeah, I just needed to be available at the drop of a hat. guessing you can all work it out. Had to do with a boy. So yeah, shh, don't tell her I told you. But yeah, so I just thought she was quite emotional last week, and yeah, she doesn't see it right now, but he did it for the right reasons. Although the way he did it was pretty shit, to say the least. Sorry, that was just a little bit of my anger coming out, wanting to protect my baby. I get a bit feisty when it comes to my babies. Yeah, so, but anyway. So I'm trying to learn how to do my nails. So they look a bit atrocious right now. They're getting better. That one, I'm really happy with that one. I'm using a new product where it's like a paint-on acrylic, so I don't have to have all the powders or anything. It's like it's already mixed up and whatnot. And like I'm just playing around with them. This nail's a bit deformed, so but yeah, I'm getting better at them. I just like having long nails, and I'm trying not to spend so much money on them. And I got the they're just here. So this is the top coat. So it is a UV light. So basically I didn't even spend $10. So I got, that's the top coat. They all come in little pots like this, a little 15 gram. This is the middle, so this, and then you've got the base. So I've got the thick base coat, then you put this on, and then this is the top, and that's what gives it the shine. And you just paint it on just like anything else. And obviously, you know, like you've got to set it with a UV light. So I still haven't even spent what I would spend on my nails. So back in COVID, I had some tips that I got for Darvanalee, and she can't wear false nails for her job now. So I got some tips back then, and so I use them. They're the tips that I've got on there, and I'm just teaching myself. And these ones, I've got the dipping method, but I find that that is really messy, and I got that back in COVID. But that is good if you've got like long nails already, but if you've got short nails, it just becomes very messy, and I don't like it. And originally I got it for Darvanalee anyway, so yeah, I decided to get these, and it's a gel that you put on, but I figured as my nails grow out, I can still put it on, and I'll just have colour and stuff under it, and I'll get better at it. So I think I got a UV light as well, with the 3 pots of stuff and the UV light. It was only like $27. And like, as I said, I'm practicing with them. I didn't have the base coat and the top coat, and these two are the base and top coat. This is just the center bit, and you can see it lifts off pretty easy, whereas this one doesn't. So I'm pretty happy with that. But anyway, you didn't come here to talk about my nails. It's just something that I'm teaching myself, and eventually I'll be able to do them really well. Yeah, my right hand's a little bit much to be desired. I'll get better at it. And there's other products out there as well, where you put the gel into a mold, and then you push it onto your nails, but I don't know how well that'd work. It's all trial and error. So if these don't turn out to be, like, if I find that I'm replacing them more often than not, I'd like to get at least a week out of them, or 2 weeks out of them, before I've got to do an infill or remove them. If I find that they don't last that long, then I'll probably look at the other ones. I forget what they're called. But yeah, I've just been getting them from AliExpress. Works for me. So what's been going on? Not a lot, really. It's just been a lot of filming and whatnot. I am trying to get ahead. I've been sorting out some of my whips and all that sort of stuff as well. Just putting things together and finding stuff that's half done and all of that sort of stuff, and just, yeah, basically try and get some of these projects done. I found my a little sketchbook the other day. It didn't have much in it, but it was from years and years ago. I thought I'd lost it. Change of weather. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I found this little sketchbook the other day that had little doodles in it and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh, I thought I'd lost that. Just like little ideas that I had, and a lot of doodling and stuff. So I'm gonna pull it out and go through it, go right through it, and see if I can't pull anything out of that like. It's sort of just like ideas, so there's just like half ideas sometimes and little snippets of stuff and whatnot. So I'm going to have a closer look at it. I just sort of went, oh, I thought I lost that, and set it aside. And, you know, it'll get lost again. But I'm going to pull it out and have a look and just see if I can elaborate a bit more on those ideas for designs and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah. It was quite interesting. I remember years ago, I had, like, remember when we used to have phone books and you'd have it sitting beside the phone? So years ago, my nan had, remember those ones that were like beside the phone, and it was like about, I don't know, A5 size, and it had the alphabet and you had the slide and it'd hook up the pages that you didn't want. Anyway, I had a phone book beside my phone and whatnot, and then, you know, mobile phones started coming about and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I thought that I had lost it, and then when Savannah was about, she would have been about maybe she would have been about 3 or 4 when I was unpacking a box that I just thought had like business stuff in it and all the rest of it, and I hadn't seen it since I was on the Gold Coast. So at this stage I was living up here, you know, and around the time I left the Gold Coast, a lot of people didn't have landlines anymore. They were, you know, they were moving more towards mobiles and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, I had this book from when mobiles were just starting to come in and whatnot, and a really close friend of mine, Raquel, we were great friends when we were younger, and like we're still occasionally like, well, I'm more friends through her sister now than I am with her, because she's not on social media or anything like that, and she lives quite a ways away from me, and yeah, possessive people, and anyway, so yeah, she lives away from me, like a long way away from me. Anyway, Savannah, this is going back quite a number of years now, and I was going through this box. I'm like, well, because you know how you got to keep business stuff for like 7 years and whatnot. So I was going through this box, which was a really old box, and I was going through all the paperwork, and out of one of the folders fell my phone book. Anyway, I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh wow, I wonder what that person's doing and all that sort of stuff, because, you know, like I've lived a lot of places, and you meet people and they only come into your life for a brief amount of time and then they move on. But anyway, this girl, I met her when I was 14, and I knew her mum and her sister, and I spent a lot of time with them up until I left New South Wales and whatnot. And we kept in contact. Like, she moved away to Northern Territory, and we kept in contact for a number of years. And then, you know, life got busy, husbands, wives, all the things, you know, came into play and whatnot. And so it was, you know, we sort of lost contact for a while there, and I lost her number, and they moved. So I had no way of knowing where they moved or anything like that. And we didn't travel in the same circle of friends. Like, we were friends, but our friends weren't friends or anything like that. And I had a pretty horrific time when I left New South Wales to come to Queensland. I was leaving domestic violence, and so it was a point of no return. And so basically, because my first husband was domestic violent, and he ended up going to jail for it and whatnot, but it was still threats were made against my life and all that sort of stuff, so I left. And on the advice of the police. So I left and all the rest of it, and it was a point of, I kept in contact with her, but not her sister, because her sister still lived in the same area. So, you know, if they don't know where I am, they can't get harassed. Do you know what I mean? Like, so they had no idea where I was actually living or anything like that, and I cut all ties with anybody that I knew from that part of my life. And but I was still in contact with Raquel, and she was in the Northern Territory at the time. And anyway, subsequently they moved and I lost contact with her. Like when I rang the next time, this was this is when just mobile phones were coming in, and she had a mobile phone. And I rang it, and it just didn't connect through or anything like that. I mean, Northern Territory is not known for its great cell service either. So anyway, and then I lost the phone book. So I lost her number because I didn't have a mobile phone still at this stage. And anyway, years later, I'm going through this box, and I'm like, oh my God, I wonder what are the chances that anybody still has these numbers? And so I didn't dial the ones from that I knew that were still like that knew my first husband or anything. That'd just be stupidity. But I thought, I just wonder. And anyway, I dialed the phone number to Raquel, and lo and behold, she answered. I'm like, hello? I'm like, oh my God, you still have the same number. And she knew my voice straight away. And she's like, she was on a train station and she was squealing. Now, anybody knows Raquel, she doesn't, like, I've never known her to be squealing with excitement. And she goes, I kept the number all these years in case you'd ring. I said, I lost my phone book. I said, and I was just going through a box and I found it. We were on the phone for hours and hours and hours. And and so like she's not on social media or anything like that, but I always, I ask her sister, how's Raquel going and all the rest of it, and she says hi and whatnot, and life is busy and we don't always get to be in the same room or anything like that, and we all travel different circles and stuff like that. But it was so good to hear her voice and whatnot. But it was like, it had been years. I moved up here, when was it? In 96, I moved up here to Queensland, and this was, this would have been a good 10 years later, easily, because it was just after Nerali was born, so Savannah would have been about 3, so it was like it was 10 years. It was a good 10 years. So and she kept that number. So funny. But it was good. I didn't ring anybody else in that book, obviously. But yeah, but now her number's in my phone, so I don't need that book anymore, but I still have it. Just a reminder, like there's some people in there that you can't talk to. But yeah, it was just a fun little thing that happened, and I'm just like, what are the chances that someone would still have the same mobile number? And she goes, I never changed it, I just kept it the same. And I got to speak to her mum, who was like, she helped me through some pretty heavy times and stuff like that, and her sister is on my social media and whatnot, so we keep in contact that way. Occasionally talk to each other and whatnot. And so yeah, it was just really weird. All right, get rid of this little knot. This is going really quick this morning, which is good. I find it so much easier to do it this way. At least then I don't have to stop and count, and makes life just that little bit easier for me, not having to unpick or anything like that. I have a lot of filming to do today, as well. So got booktube stuff to film, craft channel stuff to film. update stuff. Got to prep a quilt for the long arm machine also today. Get that all loaded up and ready to go for Wednesday, because Monday and Tuesday is filming and prep days, so for the rest of the week. Oh, I know what's happening. Oh, I've got the book fest in King of Roy's coming up soon. I think that's towards the end of the month. I think the 23rd. I was sitting there the other day thinking about it, and I went, oh, hang on a second. Oh, don't tell me I've missed it. And then I went and had a look, and no, I haven't. I'm like, thank goodness for that. So I'm looking forward to that. Who doesn't love a good secondhand book sale? Although I haven't read half of the ones that that I got. I've read a fair few of them. There was a couple that I DNF'd because they just weren't for me. I got a few memoirs and stuff that I still have to read. Yeah, I'm reading a lot off my shelves at the moment. I've bought a few Kindle books and whatnot, and but for the most part I'm reading stuff off my shelf, because I've got a fair few there that I haven't read yet, so I thought, well, why not? So far this year, for the bingo challenge, the reading challenge, I have read, I never bought anything in for that. I read stuff off my shelf. Sorry, I did. I bought one in. I bought Wolf Gone Wild, but I ended up, that was on my Kindle. I bought it into my Kindle. So yeah, so out of the 12 books that I picked, they were all off my shelf, and I'm hoping to do that again for the next round. So we've just done week 9 for the stitching, the reading and the sewing. So I think I've got it scheduled. I don't have my diary in front of me, but I think I've got it scheduled down for the next round sheet to go out next week, maybe the week after. So we've got round 2, and yeah, and they'll be shorts again as well on the channel, and on Dusty Book Sniffers as well. Yes, I think it's next week. I'll have to check that out, but I'll let you know next week anyway when it's going out. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun doing those, and it's been good because I've been doing just doing the stitching bingo. I haven't been doing the sewing bingo because I just haven't had time to do it. So, and we all know that sewing is not as quick as everybody thinks it is. But I am doing the stitching bingo, and I'm going to continue doing that because I'm really enjoying just pulling that one item out and working on it. And Brendan's just got himself a new computer, so apparently he's going to start doing his YouTube again. And I say apparently because he's not committed. He's not crazy like me. Well, he's crazy, but just not when it comes to YouTube. He's not a fan of the editing process and whatnot, but he's pretty chuffed with himself. He taught himself how to use, I have no idea what the correct terminology is for it, but apparently he taught himself how to use the milling machine for, so when your car breaks down and you've got a, like they tell you need a new head gasket, or something's happened, you've overheated your car or whatever, they take the head off your motor and they put it on a machine and they skim it which takes like a millimeter off, or a fraction of a millimeter. It skims it, and then you've got a nice smooth surface, so they can put the head gasket back on, put it down, put the glue on, put the head gasket on, put the head back, on top of the head, and then put the top back on, which I don't know what that's called, but anyway, I know the process. Anyway, terminology, not so much. So that's what he's never done that before, and that's what the guy that used to work for us used to do, and Brendan for years has said, like, how hard can it be? Like, and he's just had this wall about not being able to do it. Anyway, I just had some floss here, and oh, there it is. I'm like, I've lost my floss. And so yesterday he went over to the workshop, and I'm like, I'm sitting here last night, and it was like 20 to 8 or something. So I sent him a message, and I'm like, so I'm guessing you're not coming home tonight for dinner, seeing it's 20 to 8. And he's like, he looked down, he just went into a world in his own little world, and he was sorting it all out, and he taught himself how to do it. He just got we've got scrap cars there, so he just went and took a head off one of the cars, and loaded it up on the machine, and taught himself how to do it. So he was super excited. He was sending me all this car stuff last night, going, yeah, I've done it. He goes, such a great feeling. And I'm like, and I've been saying it to him for years, like, just do it. Like, you do so much other stuff, you can do this. But he just had this wall there, and so I'm super proud of him. He let the wall go, and he just got into it last night, and got it sorted, and he was super chuffed with it. So he was sending me images of it on the mill and whatnot, and so I'm pretty happy for him. I can just see him there last night, probably still at midnight, playing around with it and all the rest of it. I'm like, I'll see you tomorrow. But I get like that when I'm learning something new. I just fall into it, and yeah, I forget about everybody else on that. But he understands that about me. I understand it about him, and yeah, which is good, because then it works. He doesn't feel bad, or he doesn't feel guilty or anything like that. Me, on the other hand, always feel guilty, but I think that is just being a mum, being a caretaker, being a wife. You tend to feel guilty if you're not spending time with your family, and you're doing something like you feel like you're being selfish, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I was super happy for him, and you could tell by his text that he was stoked as well, like absolutely 100% stoked. So hopefully now he's not knocked that wall down, he'll knock the next wall down of having an aversion to a computer, and get some more editing done. And he's been filming, he just doesn't like editing, and he also, like, he was going to get someone to edit for him, and he's like sent stuff off, but it just isn't right, and you can see that it's not right. Like, they did a great job, they didn't do a bad job, but it just didn't, whether they're not mechanically minded, or like they weren't. And he does like sort of snippets, so you've got to work out the sequence and all that sort of stuff. Even though he sends the files in sequence, sometimes there'll be stuff he wants to take out because it's just not relevant, or something along those lines. I mean, we all do it when we're editing and whatnot. But yeah, so apparently he's got, Savannah and I, he's got this computer. He paid like $300 for it off eBay. He's had it for years. And oh my God, it's a dinosaur. It is so slow. It drives me crazy, and I'm not even editing on it. And like, I come out here and we'll both edit at the same time. And I'll come out here and I'll go in, and I've edited, to his one video, I may have edited 4. Like I saved up a lot of money and got a gaming computer, and it's got all the processes that it needs to run the software that I use and stuff like that. And I use it for the internet and whatnot, but I keep it really clean, and I do scans and all that sort of stuff. I don't store a lot of stuff on it, and it's predominantly just like it'll eventually get tired, but at the end of the day, it does the job for me, and it does it quick. And yeah, so anyway, he needed, like, I just said to him, I said, dude, you so need to have a computer that is not slow. It will just, because he'd come out and he goes, oh, what are you doing? I said, oh, I met him in the third, but he goes, 3? And I'm like, yeah. And then he watched me one day and how quick it moved, and he's like, wow, that does, like, and it's not the editing part of it that's slow, it's the exporting and transferring of files that's taking, because the transferring files even isn't really the issue. It's more the exporting back to the hard drive of the completed video that takes forever, and then the uploading to YouTube's not so bad because it's still processing, but the main one is actually using the software. It slows his computer down, and it takes forever. And we've tried to, you know how your computer goes into sleep mode or hibernates when you haven't moved the mouse or whatever, or you're not using it. Even though it's exporting, it keeps like shutting down, going into hibernation mode. And we have changed that, like I've changed that so many times for it not to do that, so have no sleep mode, so the computer's just continually running while he's doing that, and it won't do it. So I just said to him, it's time, you have to get a computer. And so because Savannah goes to uni, she has some sort of app or something. She said, oh, there's HP, and he's quite partial to HP, and so are the girls. I, on the other hand, don't really care as long as it does the job. But HP or Toshiba are pretty good. They're the main ones that I've always had. And anyway, she goes, I got this, like, because she's at uni, she goes, I've got this app, and that the uni gives you, and you've got a password, you log in and all that sort of stuff. She goes, but it has all these deals from companies and stuff, and they're cheap. She goes, she goes, I was just scrolling through, and she rang me a week or so ago. She goes, I was just scrolling through, and they have HP computers for 45% off. And I'm like, your dad needs a computer. I need you to buy me one. So I got her to, like, we done a search and what was the best one for editing and all that sort of stuff, and I looked at all the processors and the RAM and all that sort of hoo-ha, and yeah, we got him one for half price. Like, it was, I think it ended up being I think she said it was 2,600, so we got it for half price. Well, not quite half price. And then when she checked out, there was another $50 off. I'm like, sweet. So we got him a decent gaming computer. So it has all the processors and everything, and the graphics and cards and all that sort of stuff. And he doesn't get on the internet and surf the internet with it or anything like that. He'll just use it purely for editing and all the rest of it. So it'll last him forever because he won't be loading it up with a heap of stuff. The only place he goes to on the internet is YouTube to upload it. And yeah, so he's pretty happy that that's coming. So I'll set him all up with the software. Like, when it comes, I'll set it all up and he'll just basically get it and he'll be fine. And we use external hard drives for our videos and stuff like that, because otherwise they just take up too much room. And I'm not someone that I basically every weekend I'm editing, and like, if I've got 5 minutes or whatever, I'll have all the videos up into the editing software, and I'll start editing it. And so if I'm you know, I'm out here or something like that, and I'm taking some time to think about what I'm doing and whatnot, I will sometimes sit down and just edit for 5 or 10 minutes and then save it and then move on to the next thing. So during the week, I'm constantly working on videos and stuff like that. And I was just on a reading sprint this morning, while I was having my cuppa to support a friend that I'm a YouTube friend that I'm buddy reading with, and she's just started doing reading sprints and whatnot, and she doesn't have many subscribers. Her channel is Storytime with Sid, and she's very new to BookTube. She started around the same time I did, but then she had to take a break because of work and stuff like that, and so she's got under 100 subscribers, but she started doing reading sprints this week. And of course she's in the United States, so a lot of time when she's doing the sprints, I'm asleep, but I woke up pretty early because I went to bed pretty early last night, and I caught the last hour of her sprint. So I was in there having a bit of a chit chat with her and whatnot, and yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that thought. I just lost, something else just popped in my mind that I had to do, and now I've lost my train of thought. I have no idea. No. But anyway, yeah, so I was on reading sprints this morning, and having a bit of a chit chat with her, and we were talking about the Witcher books, and which I read. Now I can't remember, did I read them no, I didn't read them at the beginning of last year. I started with Thornbirds last year. It must have been the year before that I started with that. And yeah, so we were talking about the Witcher series, and we were reading the Wheel of Time series together. And it's been great because, like, you get to know people a little bit better too when you're reading a book with them. And I've been doing reading sprints on a Friday, and we've had a few people from the craft channel come over and join us, which has been great. They've been getting some stitches and stuff in. Now, where is my... I did have a little bit already pulled off. There it is. Just thread up my needle. I have no idea. That just I just remembered I had a bill to pay, and that popped into my head. Oh, okay. I have a ton of stuff rolling around in my head right now. Like, everybody says, I don't know how you do it. You do all this stuff. I've got to get this stuff out of my head. Otherwise I'd never sleep. Sort of why I do it. But anyway, I might just come down here for that one. And then be a bit easier to cut out then. Yeah, sometimes my thoughts aren't real coherent. I'm also starting this week to put the Biscornu and Smalls issue together. I've got to contact, that's another thing I've got to do today. I've got to send out all of the designer letters and whatnot, but I'll do that this afternoon because that's when it's scheduled down for. I'll generally do that after lunch, and then just after that I will start doing some more editing and whatnot. But for the morning, I have a lot of filming to do. I've got a couple of little 10-minute videos to do for BookTube. Yeah. Let's get rid of this. Alright, get rid of that one now. I love the waist knot and waist thread bits and pieces because it makes it so much easier. I don't have to flip my work to bury my threads. I'm just going to move this across just a little bit because I'm sort of stretching there. It's coming together, and look, you can see I started doing the banners as well. Let's straighten that up a bit. I will tell you what, I'll be glad when I'm away from all this white. So much white. And like when you're doing it, it looks so messy and whatnot, but then when you walk away from it and come back, it's so nice. A little bit of a white thread there. It looks like the sun's coming out today for the first time in almost a week. Had a couple of storms roll through yesterday. I think it was 3 in the end. We had 3. It was 3 or 4. It's still really cloudy out there. Like there's still a lot of cloud, but the sun is sort of trying to break through. Yeah, I think we had like, no, it was 3 because there was one when Savannah was here, then another one, then the clouds parted for a bit, and then I think it was about 20 minutes after she left, another one rolled through, and then there was one around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon as well. I took the girls to Josie and Narrowlee to work. Alright, well, I'm going to finish off this tree. Obviously it doesn't have any greenery on it yet, so that will be the next lot of stuff that I put on, and I'll do some more of the banner and whatnot. But we are getting so close to finishing off this block. I think we will be almost on track for the end of March to have this section done. Which means that we've been this year, that because this is the equivalent of 2 of these, so if this is finished by the end of March, that means that this was January, February, March. Yeah, so it means that we should be finished this block in April with any luck. So, and I'm going to continue doing the same thing where I just map it all out and then just do the second part of the cross when I film it for you guys. Alright, so if you've made it this far, leave me a snowflake down in the comments. I really appreciate that. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up because that will help me get seen in the algorithm. And that's it from me today. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you being here. As I said, leave me a snowflake emoji in the comments if you've made it this far. If you've yet to subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.